Hit that music. Play that funky music, white boy.
How did you know?
Play that funky music right.
Imagine if that was our intro
I was
music.
about to say that's somehow that stays. That doesn't get edited out.
I would like to see a backstory on Filch. Maybe there's a reason why
Ooh.
he's the janitor.
Why do you not have a wizard, a fully qualified wizard, over the maintenance?
So, Andrew, I was thinking, with this new HBO series coming up, I was listening
Yes.
to Magical Rewind. Shout out to Will Friedle and Sabrina. I forget her last name, but they were talking about how they went, or how she went to the debut or the midnight showing, the opening or whatever of Zombies 4. There's a whole zombie series.
I don't know what that
And
is.
well, she was able to go to she got invited to the red carpet. She's able to do some interviews and see
Nice.
an early showing and stuff. And I started thinking, if the Harry Potter series does like a special showing or like I don't know, like a opening deal
Sure.
that they
Sure.
get all these people. Yeah. Would you, assuming it was in America, would you think you would be willing or able to go as kind of us in Squibs Corner? Of course, we'd record as much as we could, but I
Sure.
thought it'd be a real neat thing to do. If they do it, they could just go, "Oh, the new Harry Potter series is here. Welcome to HBO," and that could be it. I don't know.
I could imagine them doing some sort of hoopla for it. And yeah, I would definitely be down going for it. I believe most of those people are invited to come. So they'll invite channels, they'll invite influencers. So I don't know if we would be on the list.
I'm sure we could buy like VIP tickets
But I'd
or
be down.
something like
We'll
that.
take a
Yeah,
look.
maybe.
We'll put that on the docket. I'll go out there.
I thought I'd ask you that, put you on the spot right there, because I was gonna text you the other day and ask you, it's like, you know what? No.
Oh,
I'm gonna
that's the
ask him
question. That's
on
the
the
question that you're just like,
episode.
no, I want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would be down with that. One of my superpowers is I really don't care what people think about me. So like crowds and people and interviews doesn't really make me nervous. Sometimes it'll get like my adrenaline up. Like this coming Friday. So in 5 days we have opening night for Anything Goes, the play that I'm in.
Nice.
And I have a solo. I'm on stage singing by myself, and then a dance after that. And I'm not really a dancer, and so my kids are like, "Are you nervous about it?" And I was like, I kind of get pumped up for it because, like, oh man.
Once you stop caring, like everything's different. Oh,
Yeah, because
that's
here's the
nice.
thing. Here's the thing. I mean, it's a community theater, so it's 200 something seats. So it's not like it's Broadway or off Broadway. So it's like, oh, if I mess up, the good thing about it is my character, he can be a klutz. So if I mess up,
You can make it look like it was on
I
purpose.
just act like, leave them scratching their head. Like, did he mess up, or was that his character? So I was like, I'm like, I have an
That's
Uno reverse card out there. So, bro,
that's
I'd go
good.
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be super cool.
Yeah. Either way, like if we could go, obviously bring our families, I think. Or if they didn't do anything or we weren't able to go, like I'm super stoked to be able to sit down with my family and
Yeah.
just like I want to make a reaction video of us watching it. I'd probably be the only one looking like a little schoolgirl, all excited, and they'd be sitting there like, "Okay, what are you doing?"
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm just excited to see how they do it. I'm excited to see
I'm
how they
excited to
do
have like a
it.
family thing to finally sit down
Yeah.
with. That I'm gonna put my phone down, except for if I want to record a reaction or
Sure.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
No,
I can't
yeah,
wait.
it'll be
Can't wait.
cool. It'll be cool.
Yeah. Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to Squibs Corner. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew, and tonight we are jumping into chapter 13 of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the very secret diary. Do I need to go on a diet? Was that a Freudian slip? The very secret diary. But before we move forward, let's go back, rewind a little bit. Let's see what got us here. Chapter 12, the Polyjuice Potion. Harry, Ron, and Hermione execute their plan to drink Polyjuice Potion so that they can disguise themselves as Slytherins, Crabbe, Goyle, and Millicent Bulstrode, because they think that Draco Malfoy could be the heir of Slytherin and know something about the Chamber of Secrets. So they finish brewing the Polyjuice Potion in Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. They drink the Polyjuice Potion, which sounded like a very painful, very uncomfortable process because you're literally transforming your entire body, turning it into another human being.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Successful for Harry? Check. Successful for Ron? Check. Hermione, unfortunately, didn't have one of Millicent's hairs. She had one of Millicent's. Yes, I know. You never want. Yeah, that's never good. But it wasn't Millicent's hair. It was a cat hair. And unfortunately, Polyjuice Potion is not meant for animal transfiguration. So Hermione's out. She's turning into a human cat. So it's just Harry and Ron. A little bit of poor planning, but they decide they're going to go down to the dungeon, see if they can get closer. They know the Slytherin common room is there. So Harry and Ron, disguised as Crabbe and Goyle, they find Draco, they go to the common room, and they get him to talk. But Draco reveals that he is not the heir of Slytherin. He doesn't know who the heir of Slytherin was, but from what he heard his dad say, Draco, just stay out of sight, out of mind, don't get in the way. The chamber was opened 50 years ago. There were attacks, so just let the heir of Slytherin do his thing. And he's excited. He's like, yeah, I hope they take out Hermione. They're just going after Muggleborns. So after 1 hour, the potion wears off. Ron's hair starts turning red or orange. Harry's nose starts showing up. They get out of there. And meanwhile, Hermione has to go up to the hospital wing after her butched transformation. So the chapter ends, Harry and Ron realizing Draco's not the heir, but they now have clues about the Chamber of Secrets. So let's jump into that 7-word summary, baby.
Take it away, Andrew.
So my 7-word summary, I really enjoyed this chapter. Okay, I'll say that. I really enjoyed this chapter. And I remember feelings from the first time that I read this chapter.
Well, the diary is amazing. I would love to have a book that wrote back. Good. I'm such an introvert that just writing a book,
will be cool.
And it disappears. It disappears.
Cool. So. AI can help you with that now. You ask questions and it'll talk back to you.
But then with the AI, you're like, who else is getting this information? Someone's getting this information.
You know what's so funny? I went on, I've been trying different things with AI, and I went on and I said, hey, I use Grok. I said, Grok, can you give me a bullet point chronology of events for chapter 13? I just wanted to see what it would do. And it got order of events wrong. So I did ChatGPT. It got order of events wrong. And then I did, I think, just Google a few days ago, and it got order of events wrong. So I'm like,
Google now has AI too.
They all have.
Talk to Google,
and Siri.
I asked it a question the other day, and then I said, okay, well, what if this?
Is it Gemini? Is Google's thing Gemini?
I just went to Google itself.
Yeah. So it's all. So they had the events, and they give summaries and different things, which is really cool, but they're not covering it. They couldn't really do the way that we have our scripts broken down. So my 7-word summary for this chapter is layer by layer, the plot keeps getting deeper.
There we go. Yeah. No, that works. My 7-word summary, I may or may not have cheated because ChatGPT can be used as 2 different words, but I think it's more... it's supposed to be 1 word.
Sure.
So I did also use a hyphenated word, but
there we go.
Comes out to 7, so whatever.
I'll allow it.
Tom Riddle's diary, the modern day ChatGPT.
See, there you go.
It all worked out.
Okay, so our 7 chapter notables for the Very Secret Diary. This was really difficult.
I love these
because there were legitimately 10.
Sometimes it's hard to pick 7. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to get to 7, and sometimes it's like, what should I keep out?
Yeah. And so there's some that are recurring. So number 1, I've got the diary. Number 2, T.M. Riddle. Number 3, 50 years ago. Number 4, Harry and Riddle. Number 5, Harry's Valentine, the Cinder, the Clue. Number 6, figuring out the diary. And then finally 7, the culprit.
Number 4, that's just seeing it written, Harry and Riddle. Ooh, there's a lot to unpack there.
All right.
So much is said in 3 words.
So let's jump into, so we're going to do the first paragraph of chapter 13, the very secret diary, and then I'm going to send it over to you. Hermione remained in the hospital wing for several weeks. There was a flurry of rumors about her disappearance when the rest of the school arrived back from their Christmas holidays, because, of course, everyone thought that she had been attacked. So many students filed past the hospital wing trying to catch a glimpse of her that Madame Pomfrey took out her curtains again and placed them around Hermione's bed to spare her the shame of being seen with a furry face.
Ron and Harry brought her school assignments so that she wouldn't get behind in classes, something that Ron would never have done if he were in the hospital wing. And I agree with Ron. Like, dude, you're a cat right now. What do you care about these classes? I'm sure
but here's
like, I see what happened. You're excused.
Which professor is going to excuse them? Maybe Flitwick. He seems like a nice enough guy. Maybe Binns.
Flitwick, yeah.
Who knows? You think McGonagall's going to be like, oh, could you not read while you were in the hospital? Could you not write?
Yeah.
Snape. What's Snape going to say?
Yeah. Well, I could see McGonagall just giving that look like, I know what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you think I'm going to give you some slack?
Yeah, not a chance. Not a chance.
You guys were doing something we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, not a chance.
Again.
And nobody calls Hermione out for being transformed into a human cat.
Yeah, it's
no,
not
there's
it's
no
not made a
pushback
deal of.
there.
No, none. Again, these kids in their silly transfiguration. So...
You know what I thought about the other day? As I was reading this one, it's surprising because there's hundreds of students at Hogwarts. And so many times, because Harry and or Ron and or Hermione go to the hospital wing so much, there's almost never anybody else there. And you're like, that's unrealistic in this school of magic. Like there's like every time they should go up there and they'd be like, oh, and there was Terrence. He had 7 ears. And then, there was Margaret over there, and she was purple. You know what I'm saying? Like,
could have been a lot more going on.
Yeah, like there should be a lot more going on in the hospital wing.
Well, like we say, we'll see what the HBO series does.
Ooh, would be cool. Yeah, little additions like that don't change, they don't alter stuff.
Yeah. You assume it should be there anyways, and it's like, why didn't we see all this extra stuff? And maybe we will, maybe we won't.
Yes.
Harry notices something gold sticking out from under Hermione's pillow. Turns out it was a get well soon card from Lockhart.
And Ron goes, you sleep with that under your pillow.
Well, she did try to keep the signed permission slip, so.
Oh my God. So you sleep with that under your pillow.
Lockhart does some very strange yet very on character things in this chapter.
On character.
As Harry and Ron were walking away from the hospital wing, they hear Filch yelling on the floor above them. Naturally, they go up to make sure it wasn't another attack because that's just that you run towards the danger, towards the commotion. That's natural.
That is the boy who lived.
When I was younger, I lived in a not so great area, and there was these apartments across the street, and people would always be arguing. They come outside and argue and start pushing each other, and I would just go sit on the curb on the other side of the road and watch. I'd get super excited. It's like, oh, this is fun to watch.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not. The situation's never good to watch.
Sure.
But there was only one time somebody looked at me and said, "What the F are you looking at?" And I went, I'm just sitting here watching, bro. Like,
yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. When they get up there, it was the spot where Mrs. Norris had been attacked, but all they see is a bunch of water on the floor coming from Moaning Myrtle's bathroom. They go inside to see even more water in the bathroom, and they hear Moaning Myrtle crying. But Filch is running around. He's just livid. At one
He's
point, he
livid,
says
yeah,
he's going to
yeah.
go see the headmaster. And I know at some point in the books, he says, you know, a little bit of mud on the floor might not seem like anything to you, but for me, it's an extra 5 hours of cleaning or something like that.
I mean, here's the obvious question. Why do you not have a wizard, a fully qualified wizard, over the maintenance of Hogwarts?
You know what? I would like to see a backstory on Filch. Maybe there's a reason why
Ooh.
he's the janitor.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Man, I never thought of that.
Ooh,
Because
that would be
we
cool.
do know that Filch, if he had the ability, he would most likely be on the Dark Lord side. I think he would have a real,
Oh, you got my wheels spinning.
life-telling moment right there.
I feel like
oh,
writing a backstory of Filch now.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta write that down.
Yeah.
Look what you've done to me.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I mean,
We'll call him Milch instead, so that we don't get in trouble.
yeah. What is it?
Milch the janitor.
Yeah. Fargus Ilch. Fargus Ilch. And yet, so he is making, Filch is making a huge, it's just water. Right? It's a bunch of water, but it's just water. So then we get
if that was in a house with carpet, I'd be
Sure.
right there with Filch.
Sure.
You don't know the extent of the damage this is doing.
Yeah.
But a castle with brick floors, who cares?
And wizards
honestly?
everywhere.
Yeah,
And wizards everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really, who cares? Either way,
So,
who cares?
yeah. So we get to chapter notable number 1. So it turns out that Myrtle was crying because somebody threw a book at her. Now, they weren't really throwing a book at her. She was hanging out in her favorite U-bend. And then it sounds like somebody tried to flush the diary down the toilet. And what's wild is, and unrealistic is, in the book, it's like even the torches on the wall had been extinguished because of the amount of water. And it's like, that's not how plumbing works, bro. Like, you wouldn't even have that much, you know.
If that were the case, we're having extreme amounts of humidity out here, and we wouldn't be having any fires. If that were the case.
Yeah, like, what are we doing?
Humidity
Anyway,
would just put it out.
So Myrtle's upset about that, and she points to where the book is. So Harry walks over to where the book was lying in the water, and he discovers that it's a diary. And Ron's like, whoa, we don't just pick up random books, because there have been books that have been bewitched in the past, right? This is exciting.
This has something to do about the book, doesn't it?
This has something to do about Ron warns Harry not to pick up the book, right? Why?
Man, this is something I've truly actually forgotten, but I know his dad had told him something because he's in the misuse of Muggle artifacts.
Sure.
And his dad had told him something about. Yeah, I know I'm on the right path, but
You're 100% on the right path.
Yeah. I just
So he
lost
gives him 3 examples of books that have been bewitched in the past. Can you think of any of the 3, and I'll tell you if you're close.
No, I can't think of them.
Okay, so one of the books literally burned your eyes out.
Oh,
So one of them was Sonnets of a Sorcerer, and if you read that, you only spoke in limericks for the rest of your life. And then there was one where if you started reading it, you couldn't stop reading it, so you had to just walk around with your nose in the book trying to do stuff.
which puts more meaning behind maybe Lockhart's books have some sort of spell on them, you know?
That's
just
yeah.
with females.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's very
there's
true.
much more truth behind that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Ron was right.
Oh yeah, he was.
Right?
Yeah.
Ron was spot on. The diary, if you've read the chapter, is not an ordinary diary. It is bewitched. Now, it doesn't come with those obviously permanent issues.
Yeah.
But
To Ron's credit, he comes off as paranoid. instead of like a little worried and just trying to like give you a heads up. He comes off paranoid, and you're like, hey, calm down, calm. It's just a book, bro. So
But of our main three student characters, Harry, Ron, Hermione,
he's normally
he
right about everything.
he's the only one that grew up in. He grew up a wizard.
Yeah.
Harry and Hermione did not. So,
Yeah.
like Harry could have probably been like, you know what, I really do need to take a look at this. But he picks up the book, which turns out to be a diary. He opens it up on the page. It says, chapter notable number 2, T.M. Riddle. And Ron's like, oh, T.M. Riddle. I know that name. Where do I know that name? Where do I know that name? Oh, yeah. I had to basically, when we had detention for flying the car and hurting the Whomping Willow, his detention was scrubbing by hand, no magic, all of the trophies and awards and plaques in the trophy room. He's like, T.M. Riddle. Yeah, I know that name very well. Filch made me clean it several times. And so then we get to chapter notable number 3. So boom, 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 just big stuff happening right there. Riddle had received an award for special services to the school 50 years ago. So we get the diary. Very quickly, we learn that it's T.M. Riddle's. So the diary plays a huge part in book 2. And technically the overall book, the overall series. T.M. Riddle, clearly very important. And then 50 years ago, very important for this book. It sets the time frame of what we're dealing with the heir of Slytherin and previous attacks. So then Harry looks at all of the other pages of the diary, and they're blank. The back of the diary shows a bookstore in London, but it's not Diagon Alley. It's not a magical bookstore. So Harry, obviously growing up in the Muggle world, he's like, oh, Riddle must have been a Muggle, or at least raised by Muggles, because why would he have this diary? Why would he buy it elsewhere in London if he could have just gone to Diagon Alley and got something?
Yeah.
So we've got a really, just boom, right in this little section.
And I've
J.K.'s giving it to us.
I've got a little bit of issues with this here that could easily be remedied, but we'll get to it towards the end.
Okay, I'm in.
Once Hermione was released from the hospital wing in the beginning of February, and Harry was eger to tell her about
That's
the
what's
diary
wild.
and how they found it.
The beginning of February.
Yeah.
So when did she turn into a human cat?
It was around December, right? The
It
holidays.
was Christmas. It was
Yeah.
Christmas. Christmas, the night of Christmas. So she was in the hospital wing all of January.
Folks, if you're going to be using Polyjuice Potion, just think about the amount of time you're going to be in the hospital.
Make
if you screw it up.
sure it's a human hair. It is.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Hermione's first thought was it might have hidden magical powers, so she began trying to reveal possible messages written in invisible ink. Ron asked Harry why he doesn't just get rid of the diary. But Harry asked a great question. I would love to know why someone did want to throw it out. That's a good point. That is a good point, especially in the fashion in which it did get thrown out.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Because normally, he's right. If you have a useless book, you'd probably just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, just throw it away.
But why would someone, want to flush it down an empty toilet or an empty diary down a toilet?
Yeah.
Why would someone even think, I'm going to throw this book, I'm going to flush it down the toilet? That's not going to work. Magic or not, it's not going to work. It doesn't fit. So
Well, and if it was a normal diary, sure, put it in water, the paper, it's gonna. But
you'd have
like
to rip it up, though.
Yeah, like if the person did know that it had magical properties, why would they think that flushing it down a toilet would do anything?
So they start theorizing why Riddle may have received a special award from the school. Harry and Hermione were thinking the same thing. Malfoy said the Chamber of Secrets was opened 50 years ago. According to what Draco's father had told him, Riddle's diary was 50 years old. Someone who opened the chamber last time was expelled. Riddle's award was 50 years ago. They believe that Riddle could have been the one that caught the culprit last time, and the diary could hold the answer to what they're looking for on how to stop attacks like this. It makes sense.
It's a great theory.
Everything fits. Yeah.
It's a great theory.
This is probably Off the top of my head, probably their best theory, the one that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So far, everything's on point. And I've got to correct myself from earlier when I was like, yeah, water got everywhere. That's not how plumbing works. But the difference here is you've got Moaning Myrtle in that toilet. And for some reason, the ghosts have different properties, different things. So I bet Moaning Myrtle coming out in a rage or coming out in a fit, maybe that's what caused all the
Yeah,
water
I
to do
think
the
I
thing.
do remember in the movies, like one time she came out of the toilet and water just, I
Yeah, so
think,
maybe
yeah.
that. Yeah, I think going in the toilet in the movie made a splash.
Yeah.
I don't remember coming out. Anyway,
Well, the
so
one thing that the movie covered
it's
was I
magic.
think Hermione had said, "Oh, Myrtle's flooded the bathroom again."
Yes,
That was an
yes.
easy, simple thing
Yeah,
to
yeah,
put
yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, Ron wants Harry to just get rid of the diary, right? And Harry, even though it's blank, he's like, I can't, like he feels attached to it, like I can't get it. And he finds himself randomly, like he finds himself opening up and just turning through the pages, knowing that they're blank. So this brings us to chapter note number 4. The book says Harry couldn't explain, even to himself, why he didn't just throw Riddle's diary away. The fact was that even though he knew the diary was blank, he kept absent-mindedly picking it up, turning the pages, as though it were a story he wanted to finish. And while Harry was sure he had never heard the name T.M. Riddle before, it still seemed to mean something to him, almost as though Riddle was a friend he'd had when he was very small and had half forgotten.
I listened to this chapter twice yesterday, very distractedly,
Yeah.
and it's not till now that I noticed this is a very heavy chapter.
This is that's what I'm saying. This is a
Yeah,
great chapter for
yeah,
just for the overall series. Just
yeah.
just little seeds like this is one of my favorite things to do is watch a great movie a second time and be like, I didn't even catch that. Like, oh, they
And
did that, and then it her
with the seven
books.
chapter Benotables, I started listening to the chapters twice.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about when you read the book, you're like, "Oh my gosh." So when you read the book, when you read the series, you're not coming back to chapter 13 of book 2 to this paragraph.
Yeah.
But when you read it again, you're like, "Oh my gosh, she was hinting at everything
Yeah, yeah.
so early." And that's just a wonderful thing. Wonderful
It
thing.
also reminds me of, when you're hungry and you open up the fridge, you close it,
Always.
go to the pantry and close it, walk around a little bit, go back to the fridge, open it back up. Is there anything new in there?
Please, did I miss anything? Oh, that's the
Oh,
worst. And that's also the worst time to go grocery shopping
oh, yeah, yeah.
because
We try to get full before we go
you
grocery
buy
shopping.
everything. So Harry, the next day, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they go to the trophy room to see if they could learn anything more about T.M. Riddle. There were a few other awards there with his name on it, a couple plaques. He was on the list of previous head boys. And then as mid February approaches, morale in the castle began to increase. The sun's coming out a little bit more. There haven't been any attacks since Justin and nearly headless Nick, so it's been a couple months. Madame Pomfrey tells everybody that the mandrakes, was it Madame Pomfrey or was it Madame Sprout? I can't remember.
It's probably Madam's
It's probably
Sprout.
Sprout.
Would make sense. Either one would make
Yeah,
sense.
I don't know which one's doing the. I feel like Pomfrey would make. Really, I bet Snape's the one that makes the potion. But anyway,
Yeah.
so the mandrakes were now hitting puberty. They've got acne, and they're throwing fits, they're argumentative, and within a short amount of time, as soon as the mandrakes are mature, they're like, okay, the remedy for the petrified students and nearly headless Nick is going to be complete. So things are looking up, and then your boy Gilderoy steps up.
And of course, you leave this part to me.
And he takes credit, right? He takes credit for there being no more Taxels. Just a matter of time before they knew that I would come. He's like, you know what I'm going to do for the students? I'm going to create a morale booster. And I can just see Gilderoy. They're like, well, what is it, Gilderoy? Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I got you.
Oh
And yes,
man,
I did leave this one to you on purpose. This is your
it,
fault.
it's very fitting for Gilderoy, though. Like, you don't hear it and go, what? I mean, you do go, what? But, oh, it's Gilderoy. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, nobody knew what this morale booster was until everyone entered the Great Hall on Valentine's morning. Which, when I think about it, I think this is the only mention of Valentine's throughout the series, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day personally, so I don't pay much attention to it when it's talked about.
I
But
mean,
now
well,
looking at it,
we'll do, my wife and I, I mean, we'll do stuff for it, but it's not like, oh, what are we going to do for Valentine's? I know couples that are like that, and I'm like, look, more power to you.
oh, no, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so
We have a Hallmark store here in town, and it's
Oh.
huge. It's huge.
It's
Now,
packed.
no, there are never people in it.
Really?
It's got to be a front, bro. It's got to be a front.
Jeez, that
Like
sucks.
money laundering at the Hallmark store.
Oh God, no. Okay.
Edit that out. We don't need Hallmark getting a hold of this.
So the walls were covered with large, lurid pink flowers. Worse still. So imagine nice, colorful pink flowers in this
You're like, okay, it's Valentine's Day. Okay,
old-fashioned looking castle,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
That right there just doesn't look right. Worse still, heart-shaped confetti was falling from the pale blue ceiling.
All
I'm
over their
sure-
food.
I'm sure Phil is like, bro, did you
I'm
not
sure he
see
threatened-
the water? Did you not hear me yelling?
I'm sure he threatened Lockhart
Oh, confetti.
and was like,
it's-
"You're cleaning everything."
Oh, that's the worst thing. My mom, I think I've talked about this before, but Christmas, she'll do the card. Hey, open up the card before you open up your gift, and it's just full of confetti. And now it's to the point where it's in there. So I'll,
No
being
chance.
almost 40, oh, whoops, I didn't know that was in there. Just to
Jeez.
make her feel a little better.
She's gonna listen to this.
Get
Get ready. Get ready. She's gonna listen to this and be like, "What?"
I've already told her. It's
Yes.
okay. It gets better. It gets better. Lockhart wearing lurid pink robes to match the decorations, which, if I'm picturing Lockhart from the movies, yeah, that's Lockhart.
Oh,
It
he's
fits.
there. Yeah.
It fits. He was waving for silence. He clapped his hands, and through the doors to the entrance hall marched a dozen surly-looking dwarfs. Not just any dwarfs, however. Lockhart had them wearing golden wings and carrying harps. My friendly card-carrying cupids.
Another pop quiz. This is wonderful.
It is. Another question for me to...
Professor Gilderoy Lockhart. I think you got this one. Professor Gilderoy Lockhart thanked the people that had already given him a Valentine's card. How many people had given him a Valentine's card?
I don't know how many girls are in school, but I know Hermione was probably one of them.
Hermione was more than likely one of them because she acted distracted when Ron asked if she was one of them.
Yes. I want to say 7, just because of that number.
Wow, you're really bad at this. 46.
46.
And it's only breakfast. 46 cards.
Enchanted books. I'm telling you, man. Enchanted books. I mean, he might be good looking, but that's the extent of Lockhart.
Yeah.
That's it. Oh, okay. So the Cupids would be delivering Valentine's messages, cards, and songs. Yes, I said it. Songs around Hogwarts all day. all day. Not just in the morning when they're all distracted talking about it, but yeah, all day. So chapter notable number 5. Later that day, in a full corridor,
Full.
Harry, poor Harry. One of the doors called for Harry Potter. Obviously, he tried to escape, but the dwarf grabbed his bag, causing it to rip and spill the contents within, getting ink on all of its belongings. When Draco and Percy and everyone else in the corridor tried to see what was going on, Harry tried to run, but the dwarf tackled him. Very strong dwarf, and sat on his ankles. Must have been very heavy, so that Harry couldn't get away. Again, in a very full with Draco. Draco is there. The one person you want to be there in that moment.
12-year-old Harry.
Oh, so I have to try this. Okay.
I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready.
His eyes are as green as a fresh pickled toad. His hair is as dark as a blackboard. I wish she was mine. He's really divine. The hero who conquered the Dark Lord.
What a terrible song.
Is this the only time in the
terrible.
series where we meet dwarves? Goblins
I mean,
we see, house
I was
elves
gonna say
we
besides
see.
Gringotts, I mean they're technically dwarves.
Gringotts is goblins.
They're technically dwarves if you want to get technical, but
But the book calls them goblins, so I got to go with
yeah.
canon there, bro. This isn't Lord of the Rings.
I mean there's dwarves all over Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I want to say it's the only time.
We're gonna have to.
But can
figure
we
that out.
agree? Can we agree that's his eyes are as green as a fresh pickled toad? Who's like, oh, the perfect Valentine? He's gonna know my love because his eyes are as green as a toad.
You were not raised in the wizarding world. You were raised in the Muggle world, just like me. So to us,
You know they do have a thing with frogs.
I mean,
They do.
come on.
Which I didn't know about the Harry Potter series until I went to Universal Studios and they were doing like the frog songs, like holding these huge frogs, and I'm like,
They do that in Orlando.
what
as well,
is
yeah.
going on? Like this is cool, but
Yeah.
what is this? This is weird.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love Harry Potter, there's some weird things that happen.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see, though. It was cool to see.
Absolutely. So Harry now is thoroughly embarrassed. 12 years old, in a packed corridor of your peers, you get a dwarf sitting on your ankles. You've just ripped your bag. Draco is there. Things keep getting worse and worse and worse. And as he got up, it gets a little worse. He turned to see Draco bend down and pick up the diary. And then he mocked Harry to the others while holding the diary. They're like, oh, Harry's got a diary.
Which, how would he know it's a diary? Could have been just a notebook. Unless it says
maybe
diary.
He looked at, yeah, maybe he looked at it, you know. So Harry's like, give it back, Malfoy. And what's Malfoy going to do? Oh, sure, yeah, no problem. But then you've got Ginny. Ginny is there again, and she's looking mortified. She's looking from Harry to Draco to the diary. She is just mortified. Well, Harry's tired of Draco's stuff, so he points his wand at Draco. Use the old Expelliarmus curse or spell. Diary bounces back. And you know who's a little punk? Percy. Percy's like, Harry, I can't believe you used magic in the corridors. I'm going to have to report this. Well, why don't you go report it to McGonagall and give me 10 extra points?
Right.
Because I just pulled off that spell that I learned in the dueling club very well. Very nicely.
Yeah.
So then Harry is like super upset. Ginny runs by. She doesn't know what to do. And then Draco reveals that, oh, I don't think Harry liked your little poem there, Ginny. Revealing that Ginny is the one that sent the Valentine.
Yeah. At first, listening to this, I was like, how did Draco know it was Harry? But then now the way it's written, I'm like, Okay, I can see how he could
I
understand.
could see
he can
how
get that.
people could put two and two together. So,
Yeah.
so Harry's flustered. Obviously, he makes his way to Charms. He's putting everything back together, and he realizes there's something very odd about the diary. While all of his other books and papers, parchment, scrolls, everything were covered with ink because obviously the ink bottle shattered, the diary was perfectly clean. And what was interesting, so Harry then that evening, he obviously that sticks with him. So he goes to not just the common room, but he goes up to bed. He goes up to his dormitory, gets on his bed before everyone else that evening. Number one, because he was tired of Fred and George singing "His eyes are as green," right? But he wants to check out the diary. So he goes to the dormitory. While examining the diary, not finding any evidence of any ink everywhere, he takes out his quill and he drops just a blot of ink on the page. And it shines there for a second. There's torches on the wall, obviously. And then it's like it got sucked into the paper. It vanishes. It vanishes.
It's great. I mean, I can't even explain like how brilliant this is of J.K. Rowling to include like this book that just talks back to you.
Well, and I would love to ask her. I don't know if anybody has asked her. So if you've heard of an interview or anything like this, so I've done a lot of writing, script writing, book writing, story writing, and I'll get to a part where I'm like, oh, that's so good. I need to now alter some of the previous story. So my question is, did she know all along, and we'll leave spoilers to the end of the episode, did she know all along about the direction she was going, and then she came back and added some of these paragraphs or added some of these things to just really solidify the story right underneath our noses?
I mean, she did it in a way to where you don't notice anything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because there's some things I listen to and I go, wait a minute, what just happened there? Like the tone changed a little bit.
Sure.
It's not going the same direction as it was. But yeah, I know there's editors and everything like that too.
Yeah.
So. But no, it's very well thought of.
Absolutely.
And I know, man, we're going to have to we need to do maybe we should change up the way we do the book review and talk about, instead of reviewing the whole book, maybe somebody could write in and tell me if this is a good idea. Maybe we should write in what type of research J.K. Rowling put into the book, where her ideas came from, things like that. Because I know she did a lot of research for these books. It's not just something that came out of her head. She looked it up. Yeah, and a lot of. And if you don't know that about J.K. Rowling, you think she just sat there and made it all up. There's a lot of research that went into this,
and remember, she wrote for 5 years before putting book 1 together. So
I've tried to write books before, and I get a few pages in. I'm like, what else am I supposed to talk about?
You are a short story writer. That's
well, I used to write short stories when I was, like my son's age or maybe a little bit older. It was fun. I'd draw up pictures, and I think from a very young age, I wanted to do something that involved a script. Like a podcast is perfect, or short form videos like what you're planning on doing. That I would love that too. So I think I've done film production as a major at one point.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've always been intrigued with it. So seeing that the ink vanished, Harry wrote out, "My name is Harry Potter." Again, the ink vanished, then something amazing happened. Writing began to appear. "Hello, Mr. Harry Potter. My name is Tom Riddle. How did you come by my diary?"
"Someone tried to flush it down the toilet."
"Lucky that I recorded my memories in some more lasting way than ink, but I always knew there would be those who would not want this diary read."
"What do you mean?"
"I mean that this diary holds memories of terrible things. Things that were covered up. Things that happened at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry."
"That's where I am now. I'm at Hogwarts, and horrible stuff's been happening. Do you know anything about the Chamber of Secrets?"
"Of course I know about the Chamber of Secrets. In my day, they told us it was a legend, that it did not exist. But this was a lie. In my 5th year, the chamber was open, and the monster attacked several students, finally killing one. I caught the person who opened the chamber, and he was expelled. But the headmaster, Professor Dippet, ashamed that such a thing had happened at Hogwarts, forbade me to tell the truth. A story was given out that a girl had died in a freak accident. They gave me a nice, shiny engraved trophy for my trouble, and warned me to keep my mouth shut. But I knew it would happen again. The monster lived on, and the one who had the power to release it was not imprisoned.
It's happening again now. There have been 3 attacks, and no one seems to know who's behind it. Who was it last time?
I can show you if you like. You don't have to take my word for it. I can take you inside my memory of the night when I caught him. Let me show you. After a brief hesitation, Harry wrote back.
Okay. So the
That's-
pages, it's so good.
It's so
Right, it's so good. It's so good.
But just imagine if Ron were there.
Oh, he would have tackled Harry. He would have thrown the book.
Yeah.
Ron would have been smart about this.
Harry, blimey, Harry, the book's running back. Bloody hell, get rid of it.
Yeah, what are you doing? Don't trust anything with a brain that doesn't have a face or whatever he says later on. So after he says okay, the pages of the diary, they start blowing, flipping around like there's, caught up in a high wind. And the pages stopped on June 13th. And it looked like a little window appeared. So Harry raises the book so that he can look through this window. And when he did so, he was sucked into the memory. And when he landed on his feet, he was in Dumbledore's office. But it wasn't Dumbledore. This was 50 years ago. So it was the previous headmaster, Professor Dippet. There was a knock on a door, and a 16-year-old prefect entered. Tom Riddle.
Which, I don't mean to cut you off.
You cut me off any time, Bo.
We started with last chapter, right, with Harry being in Dumbledore's office with Fox the Phoenix and everything, and it ties in, boom, right here. Why was he in there? Why did we bring that up? Well, this is why. He can now tell that the office is different.
It's Dumbledore's.
Yeah.
So Professor Dippet had called Tom Riddle in because Riddle had written him a letter basically requesting to stay at Hogwarts for the summer. And then we find out that Tom lives in an orphanage during the summer. And he asked him if he's Muggle-born. And Tom is, I'm half-blood, sir. My mother was a witch. My father was a wizard. And we find out that his full name is Tom Marvolo Riddle. Tom after his Muggle father, Marvolo after his wizard grandfather.
Which,
but Professor,
at the end of the book, Tom Marvolo Riddle. Oh,
Bro.
it's so good. It's so good.
Yes, sir.
I've even sat
Yes,
there
sir.
and like, does that actually work? It does work.
It
That
does.
is awesome.
It does.
It's awesome. Oh.
So Professor Dippet refuses to let him stay during the summer due to the attacks that are happening in the school. And Tom is like, well, what if the culprit was caught? If the attacks stopped, could I stay at Hogwarts? And Professor Dippet is like, Tom, is there something that you know? Is there something you need to tell me? With the same piercing stare that Dumbledore gave Harry. And Tom says no. So Tom leaves and Harry follows him. And Harry, so I'm kind of missing, I kind of overlooked something because I'm so used to the stories. But Harry in this memory, he sees Professor Dippet and he apologizes to him. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't mean to interrupt you. And Professor Dippet doesn't do anything. And so he speaks louder. So Harry realizes in this memory, he's a phantom. He doesn't exist in this memory. He's seeing it happen like it's happening, but he's in somebody else's memory, so he's in something else that has already happened, and he's just walking along as a spectator. Okay, so
and we see a version of this used later.
Many times, many times. So Tom leaves, Harry follows him, and what's cool is you see a younger Dumbledore ask Tom, what are you doing wandering around the corridors, Tom? And he's, kind of piercing look, which Tom brings up later in the book, which just builds on. Yeah. So he's like, I was just talking to Professor Dippet. I'm going back. And so Dumbledore's like, cool, go to bed. You don't want to be wandering about with all the attacks going on. So Tom, instead of going to his common room, he goes to the dungeons. and he waits in what looks like the current day potions classroom. And he's got the door cracked, and they wait there for about an hour. And finally, when Harry's like, "What am I doing here?" Right? We're just sitting here. But then they hear a noise outside. They hear footsteps. So Tom creeps out of the classroom. Obviously, Harry's following him. And they follow these footsteps for about 5 or so minutes. And then suddenly they stopped. And they hear a voice whisper, "Come on. Got to get you out of here. Come on now. In the box." And there was something very familiar about that book, about that voice.
Yeah, chapter notable number 7. Riddle jumped around the corner where a very large boy was crouching in front of a door with a very large box. "Evening, Rubeus."
"What are you doing here, Tom?"
"It's all over. I'm going to have to turn you in, Rubeus. They're talking about closing Hogwarts if the attacks don't stop."
"What are you..."
"I don't think you meant to kill anyone, but the monsters don't make good pets. I suppose you just let it out for exercise and..."
"It never killed no one."
"Come on, Rubeus. The dead girl's parents will be here tomorrow. The least Hogwarts can do is make sure the thing that killed their daughter is slaughtered."
"It wasn't him. He wouldn't. He never..."
"Stand aside," said Riddle, drawing out his wand. His spell lit the corridor with a sudden flaming light. The door behind the large boy flew open with such a force it knocked him onto the wall opposite. And out of it came something that made Harry let out a long, piercing scream, unheard by anyone. A vast, low-slung, hairy body and a tangle of black legs, a gleam of many eyes, and a pair of razor-sharp pincers. Riddle raised his wand again, but he was too late. The thing bowled over him, and it scuttled away, tearing up the corridor and out of sight. Riddle scrambled to his feet, looking after it. He raised his wand, but the huge boy leapt on him, seized his wand, and threw him back down, yelling, "No!"
So then the scene begins to end, right? That's the end of the memory. Harry was pulled back into reality and almost feels like he's falling, and then he finds himself laying on his back on his bed, and he's sweating, he's shaking, right? This was not only he just went to somebody's memory, but Rubeus, he finds out that it's Rubeus, his Rubeus, right? So he's on the bed, he's laying there. Ron comes in, sees Harry with the diary on his chest. Harry sits up and he goes, "It was Hagrid, Ron. Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago." And if you remember, what's cool, one of the things I love about J.K.'s writing, in year 1, we know that Hagrid was expelled his third year.
Yeah.
So it's all just, and that's how our chapter ends.
Yeah. It's... Yeah, so like I was saying, when I listen to these chapters, it's one thing to listen or read the book. It's another thing to hear people rip it apart. Because I didn't notice a lot of these things when I was listening to the chapter. And this chapter, because I was listening to it going, not really feeling it. But to go here and talk about it the way we talk about it, it's way more than I thought it was.
This is a chapter right here.
Yeah.
This is a chapter.
Subtle information thrown in there. If you're not paying enough attention, you miss it.
You miss it. And especially when you look at our 7-chapter notables, we get the diary, and we learn so much about this diary going through this book. We meet Tom Riddle, who's a pivotal character in the series. For the book, 50 years ago, all that's happening, it seems like everything is repeating itself. And we see that, okay, Harry and Tom, there's kind of this unseen connection that Harry is experiencing. And we see that, okay. And one of the cool things about this is you can see the magic expanding. Like, oh, now we're going into somebody's memory. Where Harry was literally transported, feeling like he was in somebody's memory.
wow.
And now,
In a book.
not only have we, the tension let up. Who is this happening now? To be like, Hagrid was expelled because he was letting the monster loose in the castle. Oh, like what a chapter, bro. What a chapter.
No, it's
So we've gone over the thoughts on the chapter. I think we both really enjoyed it. It's a very important thing.
Yes.
So we're going to change things up a little bit for the end of this episode. We're going to go through our quote. Obviously, join us next time because we're going through chapter 14, Cornelius Fudge. But we want to talk about a couple of things that are deeper in the Harry Potter verse for what we just read, how it plays into the big picture, and how a couple of plot holes. So if you don't want spoilers, we're going to leave you with the quote, and then we'll see you next time. If you do want to stick around with
so we'll end it
spoilers,
here, and if you hear the quote, you can bounce. If you
Yeah.
want to stay, stay.
Yeah.
So join us next time when we're going to review chapter 14, Cornelius Fudge. And as always, thank you for listening. Subscribe and follow us wherever you're listening to it. If you can share this to Harry Potter fans that you know, that would help us out
that'd
a
be awesome.
lot. Get this podcast spread out everywhere. And we're going to go out with a quote, Andrew.
So this is from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire when Mrs. Weasley is giving Ron his dress robes. I'm never wearing them, Ron was saying stubbornly. Never! Fine, snapped Mrs. Weasley. Go naked. And Harry, make sure you get a picture of him. Goodness knows I could do with a laugh.
Mrs. Weasley is just awesome. I can't wait till we get into
She's
her
so
more.
good. Mother of the year.
Squibs Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobaugh and co-hosted by Andrew Beecham, myself. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review. To inquire about being a guest, or if you have questions, comments, or just want to give us your Harry Potter story, email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow Jeremiah's YouTube, Accio Potter Guy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibs Corner Podcast.
All right, so spoilers now, Andrew. What did you have in mind? Because we've never done this before, and obviously you have something to get off your chest, I think.
Well, here's another thing that's frustrating about, let's talk about Moaning Myrtle.
Okay.
Right? So she's dead and they blame it. There's a whole cover up. Her parents come. How long? What's the time period between dying and then becoming a Hogwarts ghost? Because
it's explained later. Not everybody can come back as a ghost. So,
but Myrtle did.
Yeah.
But Myrtle did. So we know that Myrtle was the one that was killed. Right? She was the one that the basilisk killed. And she lives at the crime scene. So Harry, at the end of this book, says, hey, what happened? And she's like, oh, well, I saw two big eyes. Oh, two big eyes. That couldn't have been Aragog. Aragog has a bunch of eyes. Oh, and I heard some hissing. And boy, did it sound like Hagrid? No, it didn't sound like Hagrid at all. Hagrid's got a weird voice. You know what I'm saying? And where did it come from? Over there. Oh, by the sink with the serpent handles? Yeah. So it's like your murder victim is there. You could easily rule out so much by just going and talking to the ghost that lives in that bathroom.
Yeah, that's where something else, like we'll talk about Tom Riddle. Got a trophy for special, services to the school. You're telling me 50 years with Dumbledore. Dumbledore, the smartest wizard, the smartest known wizard. And you know he's put two and two together and probably figured out Tom Riddle had something to do with this. You're telling me that trophy's just still sitting there. He didn't be like, yeah, this should be here.
And then, number one, why is that trophy there?
Well,
Get it out of here.
You know Dumbledore
out of
knows.
here.
You know he knows.
And it's also
Well, Dumbledore does say a lot, like, oh, I had a feeling, so I guess until he's proven correct, he doesn't pull the trigger,
Yeah, but then you've got the whole thing like, all right, let's boil this down. Hagrid, you're being expelled because you released a monster that attacked students and killed one. Dumbledore's like, yeah, expel him. do you mind if I keep him on campus? What do you mean? I actually need a groundskeeper and somebody to keep the keys of Hogwarts. All the keys? All the keys. Where's he going to live? Just on the ground. Right outside the cabin? Yeah. Yeah, no, cool. Yeah, I see nothing wrong with this. Yeah, go ahead and let him do that. We're expelling him for murder, but I do want you to keep him on the school grounds.
See, that just ties... I'm now J.K. Rowling. That ties back into Dumbledore knew Hagrid didn't do it. So what are we doing right now?
Yeah. It's
like
crazy.
for 50 years, he's been like, I don't believe he did it, Hagrid. But you know.
Now I think Dumbledore knows that it was Tom Riddle that was doing it, and
he
I
has
do
to be proven like beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
Which this is still not proof beyond a reasonable doubt, according to Cornelius Fudge.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Cornelius Fudge. Woo.
What a character.
What a character. Yeah.
But it's also, it's also one of those things where I could see how Dumbledore, and again, this is something like JK almost sets her own traps. There are no rumors in the castle. I mean, there are rumors in the castle because there's paintings everywhere and they see everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
So they would have seen Ginny walking around. Like, you're telling me Moaning Myrtle never saw a possessed Ginny Weasley coming in and out of the Chamber of Secrets?
Well, then the portraits never saw the monster either.
And the portraits never saw the basilisk. The basilisk, the portrait never saw a possessed Ginny killing roosters. I mean, like, and even Dumbledore being Dumbledore, be like, obviously one of the smartest guys around, be like, dang, I've been noticing the spiders have been really weird. And people are killing the roosters. Oh, I bet it's a basilisk.
Well, I think a lot of it is some of these things we talk about do kind of come like, why didn't they, or how did they? It comes into play later because Dumbledore does use the portraits. He does have them do things for him.
Absolutely.
But I think at this point she simply maybe just hadn't thought of that yet.
Yeah, maybe he hadn't come about it. Yeah. I can see that. So enough with the plot holes. Cool. We get introduced to Voldemort.
Yeah,
we get introduced to 16-year-old Voldemort.
And the similarities. This is really where this, like, the plot thickens with the similarities, and Harry's like I said, he's already a different person at Hogwarts than he is at the Dursleys. So, what, like, who am I type of DID, I guess. Maybe you could dissociative identity disorder. Maybe it's kind of skimming that right there.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. I love this chapter. Like this was and is.
Like I said, I think she really started dialing in, and I think from here on out, we're gonna be a little bit more serious with the chapters. And age it up a bit, which. We don't need to get into it, but whenever, it's made for children. No, not really. I mean, if you've only read the first two books, I can see how you think that, but
sure, yeah.
Just because someone says it's made for children, keep on reading. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
So good. All right, that's all I got. That's all I wanted to talk about.
All right, and spoilers. If you guys stuck around, cool. You guys share your thoughts too.
Yeah, let us know.
Really, we got our emails. We got the, squibscorner@gmail.com. We got the Instagram. You guys, let us know about your thoughts. Get on this episode. Argue with us. Tell us we're wrong. You're wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'd love nothing more than you guys tell us we're wrong. So we'll see you guys next time.
Boom.